Police disclose more details about suspected double murder of mother and son in Shamshui-Po. The observatory to issue the standby signal number 1 tomorrow morning. Hello and welcome to TVB News. I'm Melissa Hekalea. Police investigations into the suspected murder of a mother and son in Shamshui-Po continue tonight. Police say they are not ruling out that the male victim's sister killed the pair after being overwhelmed by stress. Jackie Lin with the details.
The family tragedy unfolded here at Hang Moon Building on Chengsha Wan Road. Officers approaching residents for information this morning. Also unveiled today were more details about the suspected double homicide. Police say the tragedy involved a family of 4. The 85-year-old mother had a number of health issues and had to make regular follow-up visits to a hospital, surgery, internal medicine, and eye clinics. The elderly mother, her husband, and her 52-year-old daughter resided at Hang Moon Building. The daughter suffers from mental illness and has to take medication and see a doctor regularly. The 47-year-old son usually lived in a care home in Qingyi because of his Down syndrome, returning to the family home only at weekends. About a month ago, he was brought back to the unit by his family and has since not returned to the care home, though it had been agreed that he would do so on Monday. A social worker from the facility went to the family's home to inquire his situation and found that something was wrong. Police and firefighters were called in to force open the door. They found the mother and son lying unconscious in the living room and the bedroom, respectively. Paramedics confirmed the pair were dead. The mother sustained 4 neck wounds, while the son was suspected to have died from suffocation. Police later found the emotionally unstable daughter on the rooftop, who allegedly admitted to killing her mother and brother. A bloodstained pair of scissors was found on the building's first-floor canopy. Police say the family had no record of disputes or violence. It is understood the 52-year-old daughter was the family's caregiver. Police say she had revealed signs of suicidal thoughts to friends and talked about how she had been overwhelmed by stress lately. Noting that the case is a family tragedy, police urge the public not to harm themselves or others, regardless of the difficulties, and seek help when the need arises. Jacqueline, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has extended a trade truce with China for another 90 days, at least delaying once again a dangerous showdown between the world's 2 biggest economies. Trump posted on his Truth Social platform that he signed the executive order for the extension and that all other elements of the agreement will remain the same. The move prevented taxes on Chinese goods from rising above an already high 30% and triggering a Beijing retaliation. Nazvi Karim with more.
In May, the world was looking at a potential complete halt of trade between the United States and China. This after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened 145% tariffs on Chinese imports, while Beijing was ready to retaliate with 125% duties on American goods. The 2 sides have since holstered their guns and on Monday agreed to keep them there for another 90 days. China will continue suspending tariff hikes on U.S. goods for 90 days starting after midnight on Tuesday. The pause allows more time for talks and possibly pave the way for a summit later this year between President Xi Jinping and Trump. In a joint statement, Beijing said it would suspend 24% tariffs on U.S. products. China would also stop restrictions on some U.S. companies that imported dual-use goods. At the height of the dispute, China had cut off or slowed down access to its rare earth minerals and magnets used in a wide range of technologies, from electric vehicles to renewable energy and defense systems. Meanwhile, U.S. tech giants NVIDIA and AMD have agreed to share 15% of the revenues from chip sales to China with the U.S. government as part of a deal to secure export licenses for semiconductors. The Trump administration halted the sale of advanced computer chips to China in April over national security concerns. But NVIDIA and AMD revealed in July that Washington would allow them to resume sales of the H20 and MI308 chips, which are used in artificial intelligence development. Trump said he initially asked NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang for 20% to sell China the obsolete H20.
So I said, listen, I want 20% if I'm going to approve this for you, for the country, for our country, for the U.S. I don't want it myself. And he said, would you make it 15? So we negotiated a little deal. So he's selling a essentially old chip that Huawei has a similar chip, a chip that does the same thing.
Nazri Karim, TVB News.
President Xi Jinping and his Brazilian counterpart Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva discussed the role of the BRICS group and bilateral business over a phone call on Monday. The two leaders spoke for 1 hour, agreeing on the role of the G20 and BRICS in defending multilateralism. Xi called BRICS a key platform for building consensus in the global south. He said China is ready to work with Brazil to set an example of unity and self-reliance among major global south nations. According to a statement released by Lula's office, both presidents also highlighted their willingness to continue identifying new business opportunities between the two economies. U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin will meet face-to-face in Alaska on Friday to discuss bringing an end to the Russia-Ukraine war. Trump said he will know within the first 2 minutes of the meeting whether Putin is serious about making a deal to end the conflict. This as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said his country keeps communicating with the U.S. at all levels ahead of Friday's summit. Tracy Furness reports.
All eyes will be on Alaska this week as U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin meet in America's largest state to see if a deal can be reached to bring peace to Ukraine. The location in Alaska where the summit will be held has not yet been announced, but people in Anchorage, Alaska's largest city, are hopeful a resolution can come about.
I'd hope to have them come to a better resolution, figure things out, be able to talk to each other in a reasonable manner, because obviously it affects me and it affects everybody in the United States, but we'll see what comes from it.
Trump said he would know in the first few minutes of meeting Putin whether a deal will be made.
Well, we're going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin, and at the end of that meeting, probably in the first 2 minutes, I'll know exactly whether or not a deal can be made. How will you know that? We're going to see what the parameters are. I'm then going to call up President Zelensky and the European leaders right after the meeting, yeah.
This, as Ukrainian president said, his intelligence reports show Putin is definitely not preparing for a ceasefire or an end to the war. Putin is determined only to present a meeting with America as his personal victory and then continue to act exactly as before, applying the same pressure on Ukraine as before, Zelensky said. Meanwhile, Ukrainian soldiers of the Spartan Brigade have conducted drills honing their skills for the battlefield in the Pokrovsk area of the eastern Donetsk region, now the epicenter of fighting. Once home to about 60,000 people, the city has been under sustained Russian assault for months. Russian forces have formed a pocket around Pokrovsk, though Ukrainian troops still hold the city and street fighting has not yet occurred. And medics at field hospitals say they have not seen gunshot wounds for months. Instead, most injuries now come from first-person view drones. These are remotely piloted devices loaded with explosives that allow the operator to see the target before striking. The drones now have become the most feared weapon on the battlefield. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Protests erupted in different parts of the world after Israel killed a group of journalists in Gaza in a targeted airstrike over the weekend. Most of the population in the region has been displaced by Israel's air and ground offensive, with malnutrition rates reaching alarming levels. As mediators in the Middle East are rushing to reach a new Gaza deal that's set to see the release of all captives, Hamas's leader is due to appear in the Egyptian capital of Cairo to revive stalled talks. Danny Joe has the story.
Hundreds of protesters waving Palestinian flags rallied in the German capital of Berlin following the deaths of several Al Jazeera correspondents in Gaza. 28-year-old journalist Anas al-Sharif, alongside 4 of his colleagues, lost their lives in Sunday's targeted Israeli attack on the tent near Shifa Hospital. Israel on Sunday repeated its claim that al-Sharif headed a Hamas cell, an allegation that Al Jazeera has rejected. Health officials reported at least 55 people across the Gaza Strip died under Israeli gunfire overnight and into Monday. Over 15 were killed while waiting for aid at the Zikim crossing in northern Gaza, bringing the death toll of aid seekers to more than 1,700 people since the new aid distribution system began in May.
This footage was provided.
Israeli human rights group B'Tselem released the footage, saying the killing is another horrific example of how Palestinians are currently living without any protection, fully exposed to Israeli violence. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati says his country is working with Qatar and the US to secure a comprehensive agreement to end the war. He said the prospective ceasefire arrangement is expected to include the release of all hostages and guarantee the entry of aid. Hamas leader Khalil al-Hayya will reportedly be in Cairo for talks. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Tuesday lashed out at the stopping of aid and military offensive by the Netanyahu government and said the Israeli leader is in denial about the consequences to Gazans.
I spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He again reiterated to me what he has said publicly as well, which is to be in denial about the consequences that are occurring for innocent people.
The remarks came a day after he announced Australia will join a list of other countries to recognize Palestine's statehood. Albanese called the two-state solution that his government has been pushing for as the best path to ending violence and bringing leadership other than Hamas to Gaza.
And in the lead-up to the September meeting of the United Nations General Assembly, what you're seeing is countries like France, the United Kingdom, Canada, other countries as well will be joining, saying that we need, as an international community, to build that momentum to a breaking of this cycle of violence.
Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Still ahead, one more case of chikungunya fever in Hong Kong. The suspect in the adulterated soda case appears in court. And a suggestion that the hexagonal rock columns in Sai Kung be registered as a World Natural Heritage Site. Welcome back. Severe tropical storm Podal has intensified into a typhoon. The observatory says it will issue the standby signal number 1 tomorrow morning. As of 4 p.m., Podal was centered around 610 kilometers east-southeast of Kaohsiung. According to the present forecast track, Podal will enter within 800 kilometers of Hong Kong tomorrow morning. With Podal expected to make landfall over the vicinity of eastern Guangdong to southern Fujian on Thursday, its associated rain band will bring heavy showers and thunderstorms to Hong Kong. The observatory will assess the need of issuing higher warning signals later tomorrow to early Thursday. Hong Kong has recorded one more confirmed case of chikungunya fever. The Kwai Chung residing patient had earlier visited chikungunya-hit Foshan in Guangdong province. The government says authorities have stepped up anti-mosquito measures. Jackie Lin has more.
All 6 confirmed chikungunya fever cases so far in Hong Kong, including the latest one, were imported. This resident at Sao Mau Ping says he's not that scared because the mosquito-borne disease doesn't spread from people to people. Secretary for Environment and Ecology Zhe Qinwen inspected mosquito control efforts in the morning, with mosquito repellent kits handed out. Zhe said the flight range of mosquitoes is only about 100 meters. Once imported cases are detected, authorities conduct targeted mosquito control within 250 meters of the patient's residence or workplace. He added the government introduced a new mosquito-killing agent. When placing water containers, mosquitoes that touch it will carry the agent to other water bodies. Even if mosquito eggs hatch there, the larvae will not grow into adult mosquitoes. He says offenders will be prosecuted if mosquito infestation or stagnant water is found at construction sites. Over the first 7 months of this year, 84 prosecutions were made. Another chikungunya-related issue, the emergence of rapid test kits claiming to screen chikungunya fever virus. At this Shamshui Po pharmacy, some cost $19 apiece. They require a finger prick and blood draws, followed by the addition of a reagent. A household goods chain also ran a flash sale online for the same product, costing $60 for 4 boxes. The webpage now shows the promotion has ended. At the special meeting of the Legislative Council's panel on environmental hygiene, authorities reiterate such kits are not recommended for public use, citing concerns over false results and treatment delays. At the meeting, the government revealed they are also exploring the idea of using mosquitoes to control mosquitoes, which has yielded decent trial results in Singapore. While they hope to run trials in Hong Kong, the test would take time, so it may not be widely used to combat the outbreak this time. Jackie Lim, TVB News.
A man accused of placing soft drinks mixed with urine on supermarket shelves appeared in court today. No plea was taken. The case was adjourned until October, and the man's application for bail was denied. 63-year-old Lo Kam Ngai, who claimed to be unemployed, appeared at Kowloon City Magistrates' courts this morning. He was charged with administering poison or other destructive or noxious thing with intent to injure in a Welcome supermarket at Nam Chong Place in Sham Shui Po on August 6th. A boy drank the contaminated soda bought from the supermarket and felt unwell. Police arrested the suspect in Sham Shui Po on Saturday after reviewing surveillance camera footage. The case has been adjourned until October 21st, and the defendant has been remanded in custody until his next appearance in court. A political party has suggested the registration of the hexagonal rock columns in Sai Kung's volcanic rock region as a World Natural Heritage Site in a bid to foster this city's green tourism and economy. Timothy Lee has more.
Located near Sai Kung's High Island Reservoir, Hong Kong's unique hexagonal rock columns in the region were developed as a result of supervolcano eruptions that took place in the area some 140 million years ago. Belonging to a type of volcano rock known as rhyolite, the formation of more than 200,000 rock columns covered an area of around 100 square kilometers, with the tallest column measuring close to 30 meters. And these impressive natural structures are among the largest and thickest of their kind found across the world. In a bid to showcase the landmark of Hong Kong's geological legacy, the Democratic Alliance for the Betterment and Progress of Hong Kong, or DAB, has joined hands with the Nanjing Center of the China Geological Survey to register the site as a World Natural Heritage Site under the name China Rhyolite. Speaking about the uniqueness of the rock columns, Hong Kong delegate to the National People's Congress, Iris Wong, said the most iconic structures of this type are only found in 7 places across the globe, with 4 of them located in China. She emphasized that collectively coining these structures China Rhyolite is meant to promote other similar sites found in Zhejiang and Taiwan. Meanwhile, lawmaker Stanley Lee suggested the construction of a China Rhyolite-themed museum in the city could popularize green tourism and environmental awareness. Lawmaker Stanley Lee stressed the drive to register Sai Kung's unique volcanic rock formations as a World Natural Heritage Site under the name China Rhyolite stems from the desire to deepen nature conservation ties between Hong Kong and the mainland and to boost the local green economy. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.